You know, we often go through life without noticing how connected we are to something much bigger, something that acts inside and outside of us, with a subtle but constant presence. Have you ever wondered what makes a small, almost imperceptible seed grow into a majestic tree? Or how your own body, without you having to command it, breathes, pulses, and regenerates? Behind all this, there is a force that surrounds us, a source of life and growth. This is the divine power that I, in ancient times, perceived while contemplating the creation around me, feeling that the same mystery was pulsating within me. It is a power that demands nothing, but provides everything. Every leaf that sprouts, every new life that emerges, is an expression of this divine impulse that lives in all things. A creative power that spreads throughout the universe, from the depths of the oceans to the most distant stars. It not only gives us form, but nourishes and sustains us in silence, without making a fuss, without asking for anything in return. And yet many of us don't even stop to acknowledge its presence, let alone give thanks for it. But he is still there, unwavering, sustaining and supporting each being with love and dedication. Just as a mother cares for her child with zeal, expecting nothing in return, this force accompanies us every step of the way, ensuring that we have everything we need to grow. It is a love that spares no effort, that is always available, even when we move away or don't notice it. This is the nature of creation, of the life that pulses in every cell, and its purpose is always growth, always expansion. With each new leaf that sprouts, with each new dawn, the universe reaffirms this eternal principle. Grow, expand, elevate. Looking at life with this awareness allows us to see beyond what the eye can see. In fact, when we open ourselves up to perceive this presence, we are transformed. Our perception widens, and what was once ordinary, like the simplicity of a flower, now reveals itself as a miracle. Because at the root of everything, the impulse that makes a flower bloom is the same one that pulses within us, inviting us to grow, to expand our being, and to discover a greatness that we don't always recognize. And so, as we look at this invisible force that sustains all life, we begin to notice something special. It not only creates but envelops us in an intimate and loving care, a care that we often don't see, but which is there, waiting to be recognized. This creative force that makes us grow is also revealed in our ability to heal. You see, healing is not a process limited to medicines or human touch, but a natural characteristic that exists in us and in all of creation. Just as the sun warms and nourishes plants, there is an energy that constantly renews, transforms, and restores us. At all times, something in us works tirelessly to correct what has gone astray, to restore what has been lost. The simple act of a wound healing, or a heavy emotion being relieved, is an expression of this divine love acting silently from within. I remember observing this characteristic of healing as something deeply intimate and loving, because it is not just a repair or a reparation. Healing is the Creator's impulse for us to find wholeness and peace in every part of us, whether in body, mind, or spirit. He expresses himself in the nature that surrounds us and in every cell that makes us up, offering constant and always accessible renewal at every moment. And the more we become aware of this presence, this source of healing, the more it becomes visible in our lives. All we have to do is turn our hearts to it, as if we were giving ourselves over to it, with faith and trust. This force manifests itself in different ways, both in our natural bodily reactions and in the moments when we feel spiritual or emotional relief. There is a greater wisdom at work in every detail, from the responses of our immune system to that unexpected peace that comes when, faced with pain, we decide to trust, to let the Creator restore us. It's as if He were gently saying to us, "I'll take care of you. Allow yourself to be renewed. Allow yourself to be restored." And so we experience healing from the inside out, a healing that encompasses the whole being. This presence calls us to find healing, and not just for what causes us pain, but also for the invisible wounds of the heart. It shows us that we are more than our fears, that we can loosen our bonds and be freed from old traumas and anxieties. For just as the physical body seeks wholeness, our soul also desires peace. And the Creator's love is capable of filling any space in us that needs healing, any place that is seeking rest. In every breath we take, in every moment of stillness, this force operates, giving us the strength to be whole. And when we allow ourselves to rest in this certainty that there is a living and constant healing force within us, we make room for complete transformation. This same healing power is what leads us to wholeness and reminds us that, just like our bodies, our lives and everything around us are created to flourish with a loving dedication that never abandons us. As well as giving us life and healing, the divine power that acts in everything is also a tireless protector. Look around you and see how divine care surrounds every creature, in every detail. He prepares the perfect environment for each being to live and develop. From the bird that builds its nest with protection from the wind and rain, to the tiny seed that finds the right shelter in the soil to germinate. This care manifests itself even in the smallest details of our bodies, such as the skin that protects us, the eyelashes that defend our eyes, and the reflex that makes us blink before we even realize the danger. This same power that sustains everything is in each one of us, protecting us in ways that we sometimes don't even notice. Think of the tranquility of a child sleeping in its parents' arms, certain that nothing can harm it. This is how we are protected by God, even when, in our eyes, the days seem difficult. How many times have we been protected from something we will never know? How many times has a solution come unexpectedly, or have we received a deliverance that seemed like just a coincidence? None of this is chance. It is the Creator's own loving intelligence acting on our behalf. The protection of the divine is active and loving, and always acts so that we can experience peace and security, so that we can walk through life with the certainty that we are never alone. It is a silent but powerful force that surrounds us and watches over our every step. It is the same love that protects helpless chicks in the wild, that guarantees that every need will be met, from food to shelter. Deep down, He invites us to live without fear, because He knows that fear blinds us, keeps us from trusting in the source that watches over us. He invites us to surrender our worries and rest in the certainty that, when we trust, His protection becomes even more evident in our lives. And this protection is reflected in the whole of creation, which is sustained and balanced to function in harmony. The seasons, the water cycle, the warmth of the sun and the shade of the trees are all examples of the constant protection that makes life possible and abundant. Looking at nature, we see that each being is perfectly adapted to survive, to thrive, and that the Creator, in His wisdom, endowed each one with what it needed to live fully. It's divine love in action, like an invisible embrace that surrounds and preserves everything, in every detail. When we recognize this protection, something changes inside us. Fear gives way to trust. We become like the child who knows that he doesn't need to be afraid, who knows that whatever comes, there is always a greater care, a presence that supports us. Trust in this protection opens our eyes to see, beyond the protection itself, the loving care that manifests itself in unexpected and simple ways, filling us with gratitude and peace. And just as creation protects itself, it also provides for itself in wonderful ways. Just imagine, in every corner of nature, from food for animals to water flowing from hidden springs, everything is provided with a precision that enchants. This principle of abundance is not random or the result of chance. It is the expression of a deep love that knows every need and responds to each one with generosity. Nothing is left out, nothing is forgotten. Every need has its answer. And so it is for us human beings too, who live immersed in a creation where everything we need has already been given to us with love. However, it is common for fear to make us believe that something is missing. We become anxious for material goods. We accumulate what we think will bring us security. But in doing so, we forget that true security lies in trusting that we are cared for, and that at every moment, God's provision will be by our side. Just as the Creator provides food for the birds and milk for the young, He also supplies our needs. When we turn to this source, we find abundance, but an abundance that goes beyond material goods. It is the certainty that the essentials for our life will always be there. This provision is not just about food and physical resources. It is about what we need to grow in peace, to live with joy. The Creator also gives us emotional and spiritual resources, such as love, hope, and forgiveness. All the virtues, all the values that sustain our soul, are available to us, just as the fruit that sprouts from the tree is available to passers-by. The peace and serenity we seek outside, deep down, are already inside us, waiting to be cultivated. It is God's loving care that reminds us that everything we need to be whole is already there, has already been placed in us from the beginning. This divine generosity also inspires us to live with a generous heart. When we realize that we are so well cared for, we are called to spread this abundance to those around us. In this way, what we receive multiplies, and the joy we experience in giving is yet another way of joining the generous flow of creation. It's a cycle where we receive and give, always trusting that we will never lack, that there is enough for everyone, and that we are part of a stream of provision that never runs out. By opening our hearts to this trust, we discover that living is not a constant struggle for resources, but a harmonious dance with life, where every step is guided by this love that sustains everything. And deep down, this principle of abundance invites us to recognize that everything we need, for body, mind, and spirit, has already been carefully provided by the Creator. Just as the Creator supplies us with love and care, He also envelops us in a divine rhythm that sustains the harmony of life. This subtle rhythm is the foundation on which all of creation rests and organizes itself. Look at the seasons, which follow one another perfectly, or the cycle of life, from birth to maturity and renewal. Each phase has its own time. Each process follows a determined rhythm that brings order to everything that exists. The sun rises and sets, the moon follows its cycles, and even the rivers have a specific course, as if all of creation danced to the sound of a divine melody that unites and organizes everything. This perfect rhythm not only organizes nature around us, but also works within us. We feel the need to rest, to renew ourselves, and breathing itself reminds us of this flow, this rhythm that keeps us in balance. However, in our daily lives, it is common for us to distance ourselves from this natural rhythm, to speed up or want to control the timing and responses to each situation. When we become disconnected from the divine rhythm, anxiety, restlessness, and the feeling of always striving for something without ever achieving it arise. But by tuning into this rhythm, we discover that there is a time for everything, and that when the time is right, everything is done perfectly. This invisible order that governs everything is also a manifestation of divine love. If the universe works in harmony, it is so that we can live in peace and balance, in harmony with creation. Just as the Creator has ensured that plants flower in spring and bear fruit in summer, He has also established a time for our internal processes, for our seasons of the soul. In every challenge we face, in every moment of waiting, there is a wisdom that shapes us and prepares us for what comes next. When we accept this rhythm, our lives become lighter, because we come to trust that there is a greater order guiding each step. We can also see that this rhythm teaches us the importance of patience and surrender. Like plants that know that winter is just a preparation for the new cycle, we are called to wait with confidence and cultivate the certainty that something new and good will soon blossom. The patience we exercise strengthens us and helps us understand that the Creator never rushes anything, but never fails either. He gives us the time we need to grow, to mature, and to achieve what we want at the right time. It is this rhythm that allows us to experience peace and the profound acceptance that everything is in its place. And so, by accepting the Creator's rhythm in our lives, we realize that there is no need to rush or worry too much. We learn to flow with life, like the waters of a river, which naturally follow their course. This divine rhythm is not a simple coincidence. It is a clear demonstration of the love and intelligence of the Creator, who works in every detail of creation so that we can live in complete harmony. And when we give ourselves over to this dance, we discover that there is an unshakable peace, a silent trust that keeps us firm and serene. ready for the next step, the next cycle, which always arrives with the same perfection and love. And so, by understanding these divine principles that sustain everything that lives, we are called to a profound awakening. We are not alone or at the mercy of chance. Each one of us is part of this source of love, protection, and abundance. The Creator, with infinite wisdom, has designed in us the same force that makes flowers sprout, that heals wounds, that sustains and nourishes life. We are sustained at every moment by this invisible power, which pulses in our hearts and throughout creation. So let this truth renew your outlook and transform your life. Trust, surrender, and live with the certainty that divine love walks with you, guiding, protecting, and providing for all your needs. Allow yourself to be a living expression of this light, spreading peace and goodness wherever you go. Now, if this message has touched your heart, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reflections like this. Like, comment, and share with those who need this inspiration. Your presence and participation will help bring this light to more people. Thank you very much for being here, and may divine love continue to illuminate your path.